Communication Committee to order the drone video of the points of interest in the town at cost of $500 to be completed by September 1st, 2017, and authorizes the budget officer to transfer $500 from the contingency account number A990.400 to the town website account number A1620.455.
I'll make that motion. And a second?
Okay, this is a person who, he's free for the summer. Yeah, I'm not free at cost, but he is, has offered to do this, which is at I believe, a very, very good price. And would definitely, I think, help not only promote the town on the website, but for town residents even. I think some may discover parts of the town that they never knew existed. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be, you know, it would be a very good thing to go ahead with. This, as I say, this young gentleman is an aeronautics student. I believe he is going to be working with NASA
He's putting Jessica Anderson's on that.
and so I think, as I say, the town communications committee would have, you know, he'll put the thing together for us, but we'll definitely have a final say so, you know, in the production, you know, as to what the product is.
I just think it's a luxury at this point that we're gonna spend $500. We didn't bother bidding this to find out there's other local residents that could do this cheaper for us. I don't know if you're gonna spend $500 on a video, and we don't even have a website, per se. I mean,
We're planning to, the communications committee is planning to come to the town board with a proposal, because one of the things is, the conversation with Mike Bucci was, you know, can we afford to upgrade the website? If we produce a new website, the other important component is the emails, which then become cloud-based in their retention. And anytime, everybody would get a Gmail account specifically for the town. So if we're ever foiled, that's what can be provided. So we don't have FailPoint and every AOL, etc., different accounts that you have to pull up your emails on. And the county IT people would be helping us put it together.
And we don't even know the cost of that yet. I mean, we're
Yeah,
putting the horse before the carriage.
we're talking probably about with a website and it's the email accounts that cost the money. They're about $120 an address on an annual basis. So,
Most of us have Gmail accounts now.
But this is a different thing. This is
Specifically
specifically for, you know, for municipalities where we have issues of retention and, you know, where we have issues of retention. We would all be using specific, you know, for anything to do with town business. We would be using those email addresses, and things would automatically be retained, that it wouldn't be like everybody having to remember to send a copy to Beth Ann every time we wanted, you know, we send an email. And so that would really put us in compliance with FOIL and other regulations.
What is the website going to cost?
The website itself is very,
It's not very
but
expensive.
essentially what we're doing is we're going to be buying, we're going to be using Google Suites. And doing a website is part of that. What was it? I think it was like, sorry, I cannot
We're not
remember.
ready to discuss the website.
Yeah, but it's not, the website, that is not expensive, it's the email addresses essentially that are costing the money, and I cannot remember, unfortunately, the exact specifics of the rest of the suite, but it's the email addresses that are really,
Some of these websites can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000.
no, nothing
No,
like that.
this is
Nothing
all
like that.
templates. So,
Nothing.
and that's what the whole county uses. The committee met with Richard Giuliano about 2 weeks ago. And, yeah, he thought that we probably could get in with a new website and the email addresses for somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000.
That's right, okay. So
So
we're still
it's not very expensive. But I did talk to
But
Mike
it's all
Bucci.
unbudgeted items. It's all
The
unbudgeted.
unbudgeted item, correct. But I talked to Mike Bucci about this software program and what our thoughts were, the recommendations of the communications committee. And he said, I said, what are your thoughts? Can we afford to do this? He said, yes, and take it out of your contingency fund. I
Right.
said, you have reserves, so don't worry about it.
We had $86,000 in that contingency fund. How much have we already taken out?
We paid for the mower for Crowland Park and the sealing of the basketball courts.
Which was,
So the mower was about $7,300 and the basketball courts were $800. And we have to buy and there's a resolution in here that just found out that the time clock is
Right, I saw that.
dead or not
We,
working.
I mean, my only issue, I feel really strongly that a website is, you know, a more efficient and more user-friendly website is crucial. And I'm less worried about doing it if there's a sense that's really gonna happen. You know, that we're not.
It's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen when we finish the zoning, implement that, so that can all get uploaded. So it'll be an ongoing process. But even if we decided that we didn't want to do it this year, and we waited until next year, we'd still have this video.
Yeah, video seems reasonable to me,
I mean, those are really very expensive. I think that you were saying that in the, you know, when people have it done for their
Properties.
properties, it's, what, like $1,000 per,
Run up to that,
Yeah.
you know, for big properties.
I think we should bid it no matter what. I don't think we should just take one person's price. I know there's other people in the community that do this. I'm just not so sure that they can do it for this price, that they can do it for less, they can do it for more, but I'm just amazed that we're not bidding this. We've made a point to bid a lot of things. I think this is one of those things that we should be bidding also. I mean, this is a luxury that we don't need right
Do
now.
you want to find out who else is doing drones, or would you like to take that up?
I mean, we did it with the, I remember we had the same discussion about bidding the gutters, which we did, and I think we didn't get any, I mean, we accepted the first price, but I think to some extent it's worth the exercise, you know, just knowing what's out there, especially because we're not, the only rush is that he needs to do it this summer, right?
Yeah,
If
because
he's gonna do it,
he's only gonna be home he's a college kid, he's only gonna be home, I think, for May, the month of May.
Because there is someone sent me an email, there's the Wheeler family from Chatham are doing this. The same type of thing.
Professionally?
I don't know if it's professionally or what, but I
Why don't you
mean,
get in touch with them and ask them what they charge?
I can do that.
And if they could send us some links of their work.
Have we seen links to this guy's work?
No, because he's been away, so
Okay.
I think he comes back next week.
So we just want to make sure we're asking the same questions to the same people. We're asking this guy, this Wheeler guy I was told about to do certain things. I think we should have this guy should do the same thing.
It's a matter of the points of interest in the town, the hamlets, town hall.
It's a nice idea. I think to have it on the website, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I'm not against the idea, I'm just against the idea that we're not bidding it for one. And right now with, we keep talking how close our budget is, how close we are to the money, and yet we're gonna spend $500 on a video. I'm just thinking it's not money that's well spent.
It is if you think that our website is a promotional piece and we want people to come to the website.
No, I think I mean, I do think if you get the right prices and you're gonna have a website that is what you're describing, it's money, it's reasonable to have this and it's money well spent. But only if we've checked out that it is done as inexpensively as possible and from what you're saying, I feel more assured that this thing is gonna actually happen. So,
Well, you mean the website's gonna happen?
yeah,
The website's gonna happen,
It has to.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll table,
table
we
it.
can have a motion to table this?
I motion to table.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Maria, I guess this is an okay time to bring this up. One thing that would be helpful when we go, I think we're gonna be doing this a lot, because I know one that's gonna come up with recreation soon too. We're gonna ask for some money from the contingency fund about a project we hope we can do. But it would be helpful if we had a running record with the resolution about where we actually are, in terms of money we've spent, how much we have.
Tammy is in the process, working with David on putting together a report
Okay.
for each of the departments.
And then
And
it'd be
so
like,
on a monthly basis, then they would know where they stand.
but money that they've used above, not only what they used that they budgeted, but money that we know they didn't budget, that they had to spend something, like the mower. I mean, mower was a big hunk of the contingency budget. And, you know, I'm not concerned yet that we're wasting it, or B, we're spending it too fast. But I am concerned that we watch ourselves so that we come out okay with this thing.
Well, we're in the beginning of May.
Yeah,
but,
we
you know,
are.
We're almost the halfway point.
Well, the things I can do off my head, I
In
think
pretty
we're in
good
pretty good shape.
Right. Okay, resolution 92, Carolyn Park fee increase. Whereas the general policy of the Chatham Town Board to assess fees and charges for services provided by the town, and whereas the town of Chatham Town Board has been advised by the Recreation Director that the current $20 per hour rental fee for the pavilion at Carolyn Park is low compared to other venues and should be increased. And now therefore be it resolved that the Chatham Town Board finds and determines that the revised fee of $30 per hour, a $10 increase per hour, is a reasonable fee and shall be effective as of May 5, 2007.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Okay, the next resolution has to do, I'll just explain, give you a little background. John Lyons has suggested that when applications come in for the planning board and the zoning board, that when they come in for the planning board, they be sent to Nan Stolzenberg to review, to set up a time frame of professional services by the attorney, if a planner is needed, many times it won't be, and engineer. And so that would establish the escrow account for the applicants. If the project is a fairly large one, then that would have to be reviewed on a regular basis, where they are and if they have to put more escrow up. So that the applicants are now paying for the fees of the professional attorney or engineer.
Plus we're going to have to pay Nan to make this, and pay Nan to make her recommendation?
No, that's part of, and John would be doing the same thing for the ZBA. So
So is there a fee for
if they
doing that?
determine that this is pretty simple, we only need an hour worth of time, they don't have to appear in person, the board can handle it themselves, then that's, at least you have professional eyes looking over the applications and then advising the chairs, the zoning clerk, what might be needed, what should be needed. So that's the basis of this resolution. I don't know if you've read it.
I did, that's why I was confused, and I thought basically this is what John Lyons' job was, part of being our attorney for those boards, that he would be able to decide what the escrow should be. I know,
Yeah, and that's what this is about.
okay, you said something about submitting it to Nan Stolzenberg
For the
her-
planning
for the
board.
planning.
And
He would
him for the
prefer.
zoning board.
Why would we want to hire another person to do that when we're already paying for the attorney?
We're not paying for the attorney. That's the point. Applicant is.
Well,
In their escrows.
but if it's a ZBA matter, the applicant is gonna pay for the attorney. If it's a planning matter, the applicant is gonna pay for the planner.
Well, no, they may be paying for the attorney and the engineer too. So it's someone to determine the complexity of the application.
Right, but that consultation,
Right.
that initial consultation, who is paying for that initial consultation? The applicant?
The applicant.
Okay, so ultimately,
And I asked, I said, how long does it take? I said, well, a 15 or 20-minute review, and that's it.
Who in the past, we've had, this isn't new, who in the past has been doing it for us previously? When we had escrow last year, I think the amount, that's we had some complaints that the amount that we were requesting was
Was
quite
too
high.
Oh, yes, $1,500. Well, if it was a big application, it wasn't high.
Even for
If
some
it
of the
was a
smaller ones, it was a real burden on,
Right.
it was more or less forcing people not to apply because they couldn't afford
Mhm.
the $1,500 could be more than they were actually,
But they always get it back.
they get it back. But it's not always the easiest thing for some people to come up, that's what the complaint was, to come up with the $1,500 cash or whatever needed to get this bond. So my concern now is that we're still putting, someone has to pay Nan, she's not gonna do this for nothing. The applicant's gonna pay her. I'm thinking, why would we bring another person into this when that's what
Because it's a professional
but
consultant.
when we hired John, that was the deal, he was gonna be the attorney for both planning and zoning.
And he is the attorney.
He
So
should be able to
she's-
make these recommendations.
Right.
but he's
So
basically
he
saying,
can he'll step into the application on a planning board, and he goes to the planning board meeting if he's needed.
I think what he's saying is,
It's preliminary work so that everything is streamlined and made sure that everything is in order.
I don't see the need to bring in another person. We've got John, that's what he's supposed to do.
This came from him. This was his
I
recommendation.
think,
I know it's his recommendation, I just don't understand his recommendation, I'm just upset with his recommendation.
maybe he's recommending it in that he feels like, in terms of planning and deciding like the nature of the application and how much is needed, that the planner is better off doing that than he's doing it. I mean, that's
But he's not taking less money to do less work.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, is he, so in other words, two things are confusing. One is he, if it so his application comes into the planning board, John then doesn't see it as a planner or anything.
It'll be copied, yes, it'll be sent.
I know, but we're not gonna pay him and also pay Nan if it
No,
goes to the
no,
planning
no,
board. We're just paying Nan.
Exactly.
We're only paying him if it goes
And
to
if
the
she thinks that
ZBA.
it's necessary that, he thinks that, there's gonna be communication between
Right.
everybody.
But we're not paying
We're not paying
two
John.
consultants for the same
No,
piece. We're only paying one consultant.
Right.
Nan if it goes to the planning board, John if it goes to the ZBA.
or they can both be involved.
And then we are
But
paying,
then-
And we are paying both.
We might have to,
and that's where I'm
on
opposed
an
to.
application, it depends upon the application.
Well,
So that's the basis of this resolution.
one other thing I need to understand, I'm sorry to keep going after this, but it's still, so that money So whoever we pay, that money is coming automatically out of the escrow, so in fact, the people don't get it back?
So what?
So in other words, they give $1,500 to an escrow account, right?
Well, I think this says 300.
Well, 300 for something simple.
Right.
John's or
Works
Nan's
on it for
or,
an hour,
and both of their fees are coming out of that $300?
and an engineer, if needed.
Okay, all right. So we're saying as a town, that's something, you know.
The
if you want-
burden is on the applicant.
Yeah, burden is on the applicant, okay.
Okay. Resolution 93, 2017, whereas Chapter 138 of the Town of Chatham Town Code, authorizes the Town of Chatham Town Board, the Town of Chatham Planning Board, the Town of Chatham Zoning Board of Appeals, ZBA, to charge permit applicants an amount for the estimated actual reasonable and necessary engineering, legal, or other consultant review fees incurred by said boards in the course of reviewing applications made to them. 2. Section 138(1) of Town Code, Chapter 138, entitled Purpose says, "The responsible operation of government in today's complex society makes comprehensive, detailed, and specialized engineering, legal, and other consultant review of subdivision, zoning, land use, and other permitting applications a necessity. It is hereby determined that the cost of reasonably required engineering, legal, or other special consultant services to municipal boards, agencies, or other permitting authorities shall reasonably be borne by the applicants for permit approval." 3. In furtherance of that purpose, the town board desires to establish a policy to govern the initial escrow deposits to be required by the town board and the ZBA. 4. The policies set forth in this resolution were formulated upon consultation and collaboration with the town's land use consultants and the chairs of both the planning board and the ZBA. Therefore, be it resolved by the Town of Chatham Board as follows. A. For all applicants, the planning board and the ZBA shall collect an escrow deposit from the applicant in the amount of $300 for the purpose of facilitating an initial review of the application by the board's respective consultants, the initial escrow deposit, and this amount, which has been formulated based on the experience of each board with the input of its consultants and the board chairs, shall constitute the initial estimate of consultants' fees as per Town Code, Section 138-2A. Section B. The initial escrow deposit is not a fee, and it shall be in addition to the fee required for a particular application as set forth on the town's fee schedule. In accordance with provisions of the Town Code, Section 138-2A, the initial escrow deposit shall be paid at the time the application is submitted, and the payment of this deposit shall be required in order for the application to be considered complete. Section 3. The purpose of the initial escrow deposit shall be to facilitate an initial review of an application by one or more of the board's consultants, and shall be used in conformity with the Town Code, Section 138-2. Any unused portion of the initial escrow deposit shall be refunded to the applicant as required by the Town Code, Section 138-2C. Section D. In the case of complex, intense, large-scale developments, or for other reasons, which in the board's judgment requires the board to continue to utilize the assistance of its consultants, the board may request the additional deposits to be made to the escrow account subsequent to the initial escrow deposit to facilitate ongoing assistance from the board's consultants in accordance with the authorization and provisions set forth in Town Code 138-2A. Section E. At all times, this policy shall be administered in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Town Code.
Okay, so moved.
Can I have a second?
I second it. I have a question.
Discussion?
I'm concerned that, not on the big projects, but on the small projects, whether $300 is really gonna cover what you're gonna get yourself into. The initial fee.
Well, then, that's what they're there for, to analyze and make the determination. So
I understand that, but my,
So- if they say it's gonna take us 10 hours worth of work,
well, so basically, so
they're determining the scope of work by the professionals.
I understand that, so what this assumes is that for them to do this job is very quick. It takes relatively a short period of time, because otherwise they would potentially end up with hourly fees that would get higher than $300. Is that correct?
Right.
And they think that this would adequately
They
cover.
do this with other towns.
Okay.
Okay, okay, let's have a roll call. I guess he wants a roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed?
Aye. Okay. Motion carried. Okay, resolution number 94 of 2017, Crown Park time clock purchase. Whereas it is the town policy to use a time clock system for payroll record keeping, and whereas the Chatham Town Board has been advised by the Recreation Director that the existing time clock, which is 10 years old, and no longer in working capacity, is in need of replacement for the recreation employees to track work hours, and whereas the Recreation Department did not budget for a new time clock in the 2017 budget, and now therefore be resolved that the Chatham Town Board authorizes the purchase of one time clock from Central Time Clock for the sum of $475, and be purchased with monies from the Fund A contingency account A1990.400 to Recreation Equipment Account A7140.2. Motion and a second?
So moved.
Before I second it, is this the same thing? Did he do any research about different costs? Or was this just-
County did that today.
This was the result of comparing
Right.
prices? Okay, I second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And the last one is, can I have a motion and a second to resolution number 95 of 2017, authorizing the payment of the abstract before you of May 5, 2017.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's what's there, the bills,
The bills.
Oh, okay.
abstract.
Okay.
It's been checked by time.
That was nice.
Okay, does anybody have anything else they want to,
Just quickly, I'm gonna cut the lease agreement that we got from Tracy. I noticed there was an increase in the fee. Did you see?
$150.
A month?
It was $1,500, and now it's $1,650.
Just to kind of notify everybody, we've been doing a lot of work in the rec committee on this park day. We're looking forward to have an event, a community event. And we, in the last meeting, there's a really, one of the things we want to do is have music. And we want to have that late in the afternoon, early evening. And clearly the best place to have it is the new pavilion, the pavilion by the pond. The little pavilion is too small and just not conducive to that kind of event. But what came up is there's no electricity. So I'm just kind of letting the board know that we're going to be coming forward, finding out what we need in terms of service, how to get that service there, how much it would be, so.
Did Mike say there was no electricity?
There's no electricity.
I thought there was something.
Well, there's a conduit, from what I understood, he said, there is a pipe, and it's connected to the box at 66, but it's not connected to the building, and I don't know how much of a service there is, I really don't know how much of a service is, of the infrastructure of the service is already in place, and how much lighting would have to be purchased in order to make it, some kind of you have enough electricity to do this, and how prohibitive it would be to do it. But the reason I'm raising it is because it does bring up the contingency fund again. He has no money in his budget for this. So he's gonna be investigating that and probably will be coming forward with some.
And I had on that same subject, I had a safety concern brought up to me about the electric. And the question was is that box live that's there?
The one at 66, the one at the
At the new pavilion. And the reason they asked me if that box is live is the box is fallen over. And wires that are in there are exposed. And if it is wired, that is live to that box. If a kid, someone's playing around with that, we're talking serious injury, maybe possibly of death. I just had a call on it today. Somebody was over there with their kids and they're playing, and the person saw the box over. And it's funny because I noticed it today at the Easter egg hunt, and I didn't go over it, I got sidetracked. So I never went over to look at it. So when I got the call on it, I said, Jesus, I went and saw that thing today at Easter egg hunt, I never went and looked at it.
One would hope it's not live,
Yeah,
but
one would
we
hope,
do
but
want
you
to
don't
find
really
out.
know.
Yeah,
But we
need to find
don't
out.
know.
Yeah.
So I think
We
it's.
don't.
I mean, that whole thing down there sounds so confusing to me about what's live, what's not live, what was just done, what was left from the old thing. I don't have a clue. So I think the first thing to do is to ask Mike to, get some estimates and get somebody down there who, can kind
Check
of
on
assess
what's live,
what's
yeah.
going
Who
on.
did the electrical work? They should know.
Yeah,
Whether we did, I don't know if it was Bill Hanson.
Wouldn't that be just with the paperwork from the building of the piece
Yeah, I
that was
would
built
think
2 years ago?
whoever did the electric work there, somebody had to do the underground and ran the line, put the box. I mean, that person who did that work is gonna know, because he's gonna know whether he connected to the pole, or if they have a meter, there's gotta be certain things.
And there's somebody who figured.
That electrician who did the work should be able to tell us
Yeah.
where he left it. It's not charged, it still needs this or that. Instead of paying somebody, we've already paid for him to do that work, now we just need to answer questions.
Do you want me to ask Mike, you want to do it, or you want to do it yourself, in terms of the electrician?
No, you can talk to Michael, I'll talk to Tammy tomorrow
Okay,
and see if she can locate the invoice.
okay, so I'll give him the go-ahead to kind of connect, to talk to Tammy and connect with who this person is and get some update about where we actually are, and maybe uses him as one of the estimates of what we would need to do to get service in there for an event, that would be safe and.
Yeah, he might be able to do something temporary.
Yeah, I have no idea, I mean, he very well might, but it clearly is in terms of the goal of the day, that if we're gonna have music late in the afternoon, that's what we wanna do.
I have one more final thing, on our
Then
Chatham seniors, I see all the work you've put into this thing, and yesterday was their meeting.
I asked, you saw my email,
Yeah.
I asked her to read the letter to the seniors.
Yeah, I am so disappointed in that
Yeah.
I think it's
organization.
that one lady, she just doesn't want to sign. I mean, she talked to Sal back in, I don't know, November or December. And he said, I talked to her,
Was
she's
that
a
the
very
lady?
nice lady.
Was that the lady?
I mean, we spent a lot of money for him to do that agreement, I mean, a couple $100, and spending time talking to her, and I followed up like every month.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's in their court,
Yeah.
really.
I've got a member that I know that's a member of that senior group. Can I forward this to her
I don't care,
to
yeah.
see if she could get a response?
Yeah, just ask her if it was read at the meeting, that's what I would like to know.
Okay, because it just seems that if they're not doing that,
And
Oh.
I took John's advice and talked to Carol Hageman,
yep,
and from the Office of the Aging, and she was gonna talk to Liz Chapman.
that's who I'm gonna send it to.
Okay. She was gonna talk to Liz Chapman because they're both town representatives on that council. And then they were both gonna see who was gonna get in touch with the.
But they didn't do that, they,
I only talked to her,
Okay.
last.
well, maybe they'll have some luck.
It's just a shame to think that they're basically trying to make this board look in a bad light, and we're not. we've gone way and above to make sure that we can give them this darn money. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
and
believe
they
in
got
this fight and that we
$1,500.
finally wanna give them $2,000.
They wanted it in an envelope.
It's just
$600 bills.
I just, doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
It really is.
I mean, I was trying to defend that for the longest time, and now I'm like, God, you kidding me? I look like a fool.
Well, we really took a beating up.
I tell you, that was a,
Yeah, I heard about that meeting.
what a assaultive experience.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute, I'm a senior.
Because I was not, I was like, holy moly.
We have a public comment?
Yes. The video you were talking about, for $500, that's a good price, if you get a good video. So you wanna put something in there, in the end, if the thing is no good, you're not gonna pay.
Right, and that's what, yeah, that's what the committee won't.
You know, and that, so anyway, you need that. Road committee. I notice, the list of people who are gonna be on that. You got no engineers there. They're gonna, I believe, from the way I understood the resolution that you read, come up with some kind of a road classification system within the town.
It's based on Cornell's.
That's good, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. But no engineering work will go into it.
Pardon?
No engineering work will go into it.
No, this is basically Joe, and he's got the data in his head, he knows all the roads.
I'm a little skeptical. I heard one of the proposed committee members say in an open meeting that maybe the town should give up its right to pave dirt roads. That's bad. That's bad. The last thing I want to bring up is the audit report. We need to borrow $85,000 to pay back one of our funds used for the highways. So that tells me we're $85,000 short. We need to borrow that money to pay those funds back. At the beginning of this calendar year and the end of last calendar year, we were in a bad financial way here in the town. It was dire straits. And you took $100,000 plus out of a fund that was reserved for maintaining this building and used it to spend, I believe, for the retirement system for the employees for this year, and I guess it could use that money next year. So where is the money going to come from to go into the retirement system in the third year out? That roughly 50
Well,
years?
that was a recommendation by Mike Bucci,
Well,
and how to stopgap.
yeah, so that's
Help us through the transition, so it'll be budgeted, it'll be part of the budget.
so the audit report at first blush looks like we're in good shape, but we need to borrow $85,000 to pay back that depleted fund, and we got to find roughly $50,000 sometime in the future to pay for
2018, going forward.
for the retirement. And we're missing the reserves to keep up this building. So I see the same problem continuing that caused the jam we were in a year ago.
Yep, we
Maybe
just
you
have-
guys see the same thing. And I got one other thing, but I'll come to the next meeting and bring that up. I'm disappointed that so few people in the town know what's going on. I asked several people about this road committee. No one. Maybe they don't want to know. Your website still sucks. I can't find the link to the work Bob's doing on the zoning. It's not there. Probably the most important thing that's going on in the town, and
I
nobody
think it's
knows.
there. Beth Ann said it was there last time.
I complained at the last meeting, went home, because I'm circling the drain here. So maybe I'm missing something here. And I looked again, and I looked again, and I looked again. And 2 weeks went by. I can't find it. I'm not.
Maybe give her a call and she can walk you through it. Where to go.
I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing with the computer and that website. If I can't find it, the regular public ain't gonna find it, and that's why they don't really know what's going on.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Any other business? If not, if I can have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.